So the epic saga of Assassin's Creed Valhalla likely carries on for many, as while the game is less bloated than Assassin's Creed Odyssey, its offerings are nothing to scoff at. Still, for those who have reached the ending and are wanting more, Ubisoft stands ready to deliver. Now, just like Odyssey before it, there's a season pass for Assassin's Creed Valhalla that will introduce a couple of DLCs dubbed Wrath of the Druids and the Siege of Paris. Both will see Eivor set sail once again, traveling to Ireland in the former and Francia in the latter, yet while each seem to have its own narrative, there's one lingering mystery from the main campaign that ought to be resolved, with the Wrath of the Druids seemingly being the best DLC to do this. Now in this video, I'm going to be going over a theory by none other than GameRant, so major spoilers for the Assassin's Creed Valhalla storyline ahead in this video, so if you don't want any spoilers, back out now, but if you are going to back out, leave a like, why not? But if you don't care about spoilers or you have completed the main game, then let's get straight into the video. Now again, this is all coming from GameRant, and at the end I want to discuss how I think this is quite a good theory and an idea that I really want Ubisoft to move forward with. Now of course, as we know, Wrath of the Druids is the first Assassin's Creed Valhalla DLC set to release sometime in spring 2021. While that's the extent of what we know, that we will explore the haunted wilds and beautiful landscapes of Ireland as you battle a druidic cult known as the Children of Danu, conquering ring forts, master the art of smuggling, and gain the favour of Gaelic kings in a new open world adventure, there are still a few things that can be inferred. Travelling to Ireland means a new map, and gaining the favour of Gaelic kings mean you may follow a similar, if somewhat smaller, narrative structure to the AC Valhalla main campaign. The Children of Danu may yet be another independent cult such as the Cult of Cosmos in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, but what this may mean is that the Order of the Ancients is behind them nonetheless. After all, Danu is a mysterious mythological figure reconstructed by with no surviving myths by modern scholars. It's ripe for some Isu picking and some indication that she is a goddess associated with the land. However, as Layla has joined the reader, the new modern day protagonist for Assassin's Creed Valhalla will be the one reliving Eivor's memories. As the story reveals, the main character is BASIMS, and it's likely that players will be playing as BASIMS as the story advances into Assassin's Creed 2021, though it's possible it's just in DLC, if somewhat unlikely. That may be the key to resolving one big mystery, and what did Odin actually do to Loki, and what was Loki's actual role in Ragnarok / the Great Catastrophe. Playing through the Asgard and Jotunheim sections of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, it reveals that Havi, or Odin, had been having a falling out with Loki over the imprisonment of Fenrir, leading the High One to give up their eye to attain wisdom from the Well Osmyrmir. This taught Havi one way to survive the Isu's Great Catastrophe through reincarnation. Drinking a special elixir means that these Isu would attempt survival in a brand new way, reincarnating centuries later. Odin returns as Eivor, Tyr returns as Sigurd, and Loki returns as BASIMS, still hot for revenge after Odin's treatment of his son. But therein lies a mystery. Loki did not drink the special mead, at least in one ending. In fact, Odin / Eivor goes on to say that as Ragnarok consumes them, that none may follow, least of all Loki. As players unlock the secret ending, the cultural lens of Eivor is removed. Instead of seeing Ragnarok in its mythological representation, players see the Isu make sure they are reincarnated as the Great Catastrophe looms. There, Loki manages to rush in, make a quick kill, and inject his consciousness into the life tree as well. BASIM's motivation may seem clear enough, but his identity as Loki casts a big shroud over the events of the Great Catastrophe. One thing the secret Isu ending doesn't explore is what Loki's exact role was. It would seem that a translation of events would suggest that Loki was mad at Odin for his treatment of Fenrir, but it's doubtful that Fenrir was actually a wolf in the Isu game. As in Norse mythology, Loki leads the Jotnar and fire giants, causing Ragnarok in so many ways. As such, it was seemingly imply that BASIMS / Loki played a big role in either causing or guaranteeing the Great Catastrophe. The mythological view was stripped back, but even in the advanced Isu way and the mythological way, Loki's exact role in causing this remains uncertain. Instead of preventing it, it seems that BASIMS / Loki would have had some other plan, and that itself is different than Juno and those before. As such, exploring exploring Loki's role in the Great Catastrophe needs to be established with less of a metaphor required and more blanks filled in. Clearly Basim holds more of his memory as Loki than either Sigurd or Eivor, which is a question in and of itself. The DLC for Odyssey sets up the main events for the modern day of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and it's likely that Valhalla's DLC does the exact same for the next AC game. Understanding Loki's role is an all-important storyline, and it may even put him in direct conflict with Desmond and Layla. With the Druids magic though, and with Loki living through Eivor's memories, it seems likely that Wrath of the Druids will offer more details for this mystery. How that translates to the next game remains to be seen. Players are in a series first. They've played a Templar in the past as one of the franchise's breakthroughs with Assassin's Creed Rogue, but they've never played as an Isu in a present, which is exactly what we are getting with Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Now, some things I agree with, some things I don't. Now, we know exactly what happened during the Great Catastrophe through the previous games and the previous stories, as well as the previous little hints and tidbits of extra Easter eggs that have been drawn out in many Assassin's Creed games, which I'm not going to go into. But in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, we know for a fact that Eivor did something to Loki's son, and Loki's son being the Isu being, that was probably something that happened. Maybe Loki's son, was the first human Isu hybrid. Why? Because in the mythological segments of Valhalla, we see that actually Loki has mated with a blue giant girl, and they've created a wolf, an abomination to the Isu, to the gods. And well, what would be an abomination to the Isu? A human Isu hybrid, Adam and Eve, and maybe that's exactly what caused the Great Catastrophe, and maybe, just maybe, that is what Loki is trying to resolve. Now, will this be resolved in the Druids DLC? I hope so, as in Odyssey we did get some DLC that linked to the modern day, and I would really love to see how Basim's story progresses, as well as Sean and Rebecca's and the rest of the modern day gang. Guys and girls, let me know what you think about this in the description down below. Now, I hope you all have an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next video.